Okay, so the first thing I'm going to be able to do to be able to take this apart is I've just got a few screws along the top to take out. So I'll take these out. And the reason why I'm using such long screws is by being such a long screw, then it seems to create threads, and it doesn't matter how many times I seem to be able to take it in and out, it'll always go back in. And even if it does strip out, I can just put another screw hole in another screw. So there. So now that'll allow that to come ahead just a little wee bit, and then I can just take this screw out, and then I can roll this up, and I can take my belt off, which will allow me to get rid of this top piece now. And this top piece, I've kind of got it just made so that, you know, pretty hard to explain, you know, in much detail how I did this. You know, it's just a flat piece, and then I built a little box in order to do the dust collection, and then kind of, depending on your motor size, if you were to copy something like this, then just had to make a guard here to cover up my belt. So now I'm just going to be able to lift this off. So there you can see a little bit of how I made this. I did bolt my motor down. And but this isn't the most important part. This piece here. This is the part that I really like how this comes apart. So so just by taking just a few screws out, I can get my drum out and be able to change the sandpaper. So just 4 screws here, and I never really changed them. If you guys have been following my videos, still just using them 1¼ inch, but they seem to be holding up just fine. And the same thing with this little block of melamine in there, it's holding up just fine. So that'll get that side, so it's free and almost ready to come out. And now all I've got to do is just take this side out, but this side requires a little wee bit more work. Not much, but a little bit. And I'll just turn it sideways here so you can see it. So you can see this side has the, I had to put a little, a bolt is what I used, just so that chain could run on that to keep it away from my main shaft. So now when I take this one out, I got to kind of turn it sideways, so that'll allow that little pin to free up there. And then I'll have to take my chain off. And it's loose enough now that it'll just roll right off. And then, as you can see, now I can pop my drum out. Go change my sandpaper, you know, and then be able to just pop it back in. Like so. So, what I did find too is my drum now is a little wee bit out of true. I don't know what happened, whether it's from sitting or whether things just kind of worked in, but you can see here that the sand, the solder, or when it's sanding, it's mostly hitting on one side of the drum. So, one thing I would probably do different is I would use a piece of 1 inch threaded rod for this, and that would give me a little bit more stability. And you know, I'd still use the MDF, but I definitely use, you know, a 1 inch bearing and the 1 inch threaded rod. So you guys have seen the rest of it. You know, these little blocks just fit in there. If you haven't seen the rest of this machine, just have a look at my videos and you'll see the rest of it. So now, you know, it's very simple to put back together. I'm just going to be able to, you know, put this chain back on. I'm not going to take it right apart. You guys have already seen the rest of it. The only thing I did do since that last video is I added the sandpaper to the feeder drums here, and I wasn't too fussy. I left a little space in between to make it so it went pretty easy, and you know, it's working incredibly well. So then to put this back together, might as well put it right back together, is I've just got to turn this thing, and actually I guess I just put it right down in there, turn it a little bit sideways here to get that chain back up around it, and then just put the screws back in. Let's find my drill where I put it. I seem to have misplaced it. Oh my. Hiding over by the table. So then just put the screws back in. And if these do happen to strip out, like I said, I can just put a screw in a different spot. So I'm not worried about just using screws. And then at this side, it's very simple. Just pop that back in place. Everything just goes right back in the same hole. Then I'll just be able to put my motor assembly back up on there. Just get it in the right spot there. There, pull it forward. Then I can take my little belt guard off here now. Pop it up in the air. And put my belt on right now while it's pushed forward a little bit. Then I'll just be able to, with the same screws, just push that forward. What I did was made it nice and flush with the front of this. Just push that forward so it comes flush, and then the rest of it just goes. That one's the hardest one because that's the one that's putting the tension on the belt. So now if I wanted to do some sanding, I'd be ready. If I needed to do some sanding now. Put my belt guard back in place here, put a screw back in there. Get my wrench in place, and then I'd be geared up to go. So you guys keep tuning in. If you got any questions about this, just just ask there, and hopefully you guys will take the time to push the like button. And you guys keep tuning in. There's more cool wooden tools to come as well. So thanks for watching.